The evening air felt thick as I walked into the house, exhausted from a long day at work. The peace I longed for seemed distant, replaced by an oppressive, unsettling silence. As I passed our small office, I stopped, my heart pounding. My husband, Ethan, was sitting at the desk, papers scattered before him. His face was tense, and my stomach twisted as I realized what he was looking at: my personal documents. Bank statements, my carefully guarded savings records, and even the journal where I had planned our baby's future. "What are you doing?" I demanded, stepping into the room. My voice shook with a mixture of anger and disbelief. Ethan looked up, his expression utterly unapologetic. "Just making sure everything's in order," he said, his tone maddeningly calm. "With the baby on the way, we need to be prepared." I clenched my hands into fists. "You went through my things without asking." My voice grew louder, edged with rage. "You had no right." Ethan's calm mask slipped, and his expression darkened. He stood abruptly, his eyes narrowing. "Jessica, our finances are shared," he snapped. "I have a right to know what's going on, especially when you're acting like money grows on trees." Confusion turned to horror. "What are you talking about?" I demanded, my voice rising. "I've been saving every penny for our baby's future. What could possibly justify this invasion of privacy?" Ethan stepped closer, his eyes cold. "I'm $100,000 in debt, Jessica. Gambling debt. I need that $50,000 you've been hiding. We have to fix this before it destroys us." The room spun around me. My savings, carefully set aside to secure our baby's future, were now the target of his reckless decisions. "You're not using that money," I managed, my voice trembling. "That's for our child." Ethan's face contorted with rage. "You're being selfish," he shouted, his voice booming. "This is about survival." The tension boiled over. Before I could react, Ethan's hand flew out, striking me hard across the face. The force of the slap sent me stumbling backward, my cheek stinging with pain. Shock flooded my senses, but there was no time to recover. Ethan grabbed my shoulders and shoved me forcefully against the wall. Pain shot down my spine, and fear took hold, making my heart race. "You think you can defy me?" he spat, his grip tightening. "I've sacrificed for this family, and you act like some spoiled little girl." Tears blurred my vision, but I fought to keep my voice steady. "You can't do this to me," I whispered, desperation breaking through. Summoning every ounce of strength I had left, I shoved him away, breaking free from his grip. My body trembled as I stumbled out of the room. The cool evening air hit my tear-streaked face as I bolted out of the house, my body still shaking. I stumbled into my car, locked the doors, and sat there, gasping for breath. The assault had left me dazed, but the fear for my baby's safety burned brighter. I knew I had to get away, to protect both myself and the life growing inside me. The next morning, I met my best friend, Olivia, at our usual coffee shop. I hadn't slept, and the bruise on my cheek was glaringly fresh. Olivia's eyes widened with horror when she saw me, and she pulled me into a gentle hug. "Jessica, what happened?" Taking a shaky breath, I told her everything: Ethan's secret gambling debt, his plan to steal my $50,000 savings, and how he had hit and shoved me when I refused. Her face grew hard with anger as she listened. "You have to leave," she said, her voice firm. "You and your baby deserve to be safe. You can't stay with him." Her words pierced through the fog of fear, and I nodded, tears welling up. "I know," I whispered, "but I don't know where to go." Olivia reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "We'll figure it out," she promised. "But first, you need legal protection. We have to get you a lawyer." A few days later, Olivia drove me to meet Alex, a respected family attorney. His office was warm and welcoming, sunlight streaming in through large windows. I needed that feeling of safety. Alex greeted me with a kind smile, but his eyes turned serious as he listened to my story. I explained the emotional abuse, Ethan's gambling debt, and the physical violence. My voice trembled, but I forced myself to stay strong for my baby. You're incredibly brave, Alex said gently, but you need to be prepared. If you fight for your rights, Ethan might retaliate. We'll need solid evidence of everything. Olivia leaned forward. Jessica has been saving texts, photos, and journal entries for months. We can get whatever you need. Alex nodded, his expression growing determined. Good. We'll start by securing a protective order and making sure Ethan can't touch that $50,000. We'll also need proof of his gambling debts and financial recklessness. Hope sparked in my chest. With Olivia and Alex by my side, I felt a flicker of strength. The days blurred into nights as Olivia, and I worked late, gathering every piece of evidence we could find. We documented text messages where Ethan belittled and manipulated me, photographed the bruise on my cheek, and found records of his gambling debts. Each piece felt like a weapon in my fight to protect my baby. One evening, I sat at my parents' house, hands trembling as I shared everything. They had suspected something was wrong, but hadn't known the full extent. My father's jaw clenched in anger, but he gently took my hand. "You're stronger than you think, Jessica," he said, his voice unwavering. "We're here for you." Their support filled me with renewed courage. I wasn't just fighting for myself, I was fighting for my baby's future. The day of the court hearing arrived, and the courthouse felt cold and intimidating. I walked in with Olivia and Alex at my side. Ethan was already there, sitting with his lawyer. His expression was hard, and his mother sat beside him, her glare full of disdain. The judge called us forward, and Alex presented our case. He described Ethan's emotional abuse, his secret gambling debt of $100,000, and the physical violence I had endured. He emphasized that my $50,000 was for our baby's future, not to cover Ethan's reckless decisions. I took the stand, my hands trembling but my voice strong. "I married Ethan because I loved him," I began, "but his choices put us all in danger. He hid his gambling addiction, and when I tried to protect my baby, he hurt me. I can't let my child grow up in a home filled with fear." Ethan's lawyer tried to portray me as overly emotional, claiming Ethan's actions were out of stress. But the judge listened closely, her eyes narrowing at their arguments. She asked pointed questions about Ethan's debts and his actions, making it clear she wasn't convinced by his excuses. When the court took a recess, Alex leaned over and whispered, "You're doing great, Jessica. Stay strong. The judge is paying attention to the facts." Ethan glared at me from across the room, but I held my head high. I wasn't afraid anymore. I was fighting for my baby and our future. The judge's verdict was delivered. Ethan's actions are inexcusable. He is hereby sentenced to 5 years in prison for assault and financial misconduct, and he must pay a $50,000 fine to Jessica for damages. Relief flooded through me. The nightmare was over, and justice had been served. The weeks following the court hearing were a whirlwind of emotions and adjustments. With Ethan imprisoned and legally barred from contacting me or coming near, a sense of safety slowly began to settle over my life. My parents opened their home to me with open arms, and their support became my anchor as I prepared for the arrival of my baby. Olivia stayed by my side, her presence a constant source of comfort and strength. Together, we transformed one of the spare rooms in my parents' house into a beautiful nursery. We painted the walls a soothing shade of pastel blue and decorated with cheerful animal prints. Each small step, hanging curtains, arranging baby clothes, and setting up the crib, felt like reclaiming a part of myself that I had lost during my time with Ethan. Despite the newfound peace, there were still moments when fear and doubt crept in. Nightmares plagued me at times, pulling me back into memories of Ethan's rage. I would wake up in the middle of the night, gasping for breath and clutching my belly as if to shield my unborn child from the darkness of the past. But each time, I reminded myself that I was safe now, surrounded by people who loved and cared for me. One afternoon, as the autumn leaves fell gently outside, I found myself sitting on the back porch with my father. The crisp air carried the scent of change, and for the first time in a long while, I felt hopeful. My father, who had always been a man of few words, turned to me and said, "You've been through hell, Jessica, but you're stronger because of it. Your mother and I are so proud of you." Tears welled up in my eyes, but they were tears of gratitude. "Thank you, Dad," I whispered. "I don't think I could have made it through without you and Mom." He placed a gentle hand on mine. "We're here for you, always." A few weeks later, Olivia surprised me with a small, intimate baby shower. Only my closest friends and family were invited, and the living room was filled with laughter, love, and pastel-colored decorations. We played silly baby shower games and shared memories, and for the first time in what felt like forever, I allowed myself to feel truly happy. That evening, after everyone had left, Olivia and I sat together on the couch, surrounded by baby gifts. "You've come so far, Jess," she said, her voice soft with admiration. "I'm so proud of you." I looked around at the colorful wrapping paper and the tiny clothes folded neatly in a pile. "I couldn't have done it without you," I replied, my voice thick with emotion. "Thank you for being there, for believing in me." Olivia smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. "Always." As my due date approached, I found myself spending more and more time in the nursery, imagining the future I would share with my daughter. One afternoon, while the sunlight streamed through the curtains, I sat in the rocking chair with my hand resting on my belly. "Little one," I whispered, "you're going to grow up in a home filled with love. You'll never have to know the fear I did. I promise." The day finally came when I went into labor. It was a whirlwind of pain, nerves, and excitement, but I was surrounded by the people I loved most. My parents held my hands, and Olivia never left my side. Hours later, I held my daughter, Charlotte, in my arms for the first time. Her tiny eyes blinked up at me, and the world seemed to stand still. Tears streamed down my face, and I whispered, "You're safe, my love. We're both safe now." The weeks after Charlotte's birth were filled with sleepless nights and tender moments. My parents helped me with feedings and late-night diaper changes, and Olivia visited often, bringing meals and laughter into the house. The love that surrounded Charlotte and me was overwhelming, a reminder that we had both found a new beginning. One afternoon, as I rocked Charlotte in the nursery, the sunlight casting a warm glow on the walls, I thought about how far we had come. The pain of the past had left scars, but they were a reminder of the strength I had discovered within myself. I had fought for freedom, for safety, and for the chance to give my daughter a life filled with love and joy. Healing was not a straight line, but every day was a step forward. And with Charlotte in my arms, I knew that the future was full of endless possibilities, brighter than I had ever imagined. Thanks for sticking around until the end of our story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button to show your support. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below and let us know what you think or share your own experiences. And if you want more stories like this one, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.